Assalamu alaikum badimulu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Eco TV viewers and listeners. Juma Mubarak to our Muslim compatriots and Muslims all over the world. My name is Larry Sise. I'm back with my colleague Lamin Mane. We couldn't do the program yesterday for some technical reasons, but we are back this Friday to make up for not giving you the program yesterday. Juma Mubarak to all of you, and then we will get into the issues that we intend to discuss with you guys today. Lamin.
Thank you, Larry, and yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our listeners around the world. Thank you once again for welcoming us into your homes. The technical reasons that Larry referred to for yesterday was simply NAWEC being NAWEC again. They decided to suspend power supply in this area for as much long as they wanted. We were here for 2 hours waiting for power to come. Of course, it never came, but yeah, that's NAWEC to you. So we hope that you'll be okay today.
Good. Today we have 3 issues. They are all interrelated. Interrelated in the sense that they all revolve around President Barrow and Sidi Njai. I hate to keep talking about Sidi Njai because as far as I'm concerned, he is an insignificant non-entity in our political ecosystem. But we have to respond to some of the things he says in real time so that the lies that are being spewed do not turn into unjustifiable truths. We also want to link that to the leadership style of President Barrow in terms of
or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof, in terms of how he manages the things that have been happening in the last 10 years of his rule. One of those issues is, we all knew Sidi Njai made a very serious made a very serious allegation on Mandinkas and the UDP. I think he is on record as saying he was responsible for purging Mandinkas in the civil service, or those he considered shadow supporters of UDP or UDP sympathizers. I think that's the best way to frame it. He also, in that vein, made a comment in Nyanija, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, that UDP is a tribalist party, UDP is a fitna party. And the reasons why he said that, according to him, were that UDP is preventing people from registering to vote. And they are targeting non-Mandinkas in that registration fray. We're going to elaborate on that one more. And then we will talk about the general framework of our electoral integrity, or the assault of the NPP on our electoral integrity. Those will be the 3 issues we will talk about. Lamin, I think that is a summary of what we need to talk about today. But yes, let me start by getting your response to these 3 issues, and then we can get into the deeper analysis of them.
No, I think you summarized it quite well, and that's what we want to discuss, because the whole thing, the electoral registration process for the supplementary voter registration, and how Sidi Njai is trying to weigh on that, how NPP is trying to steal this election in broad daylight, and how Barrow and Sidi Njai seem to be in agreement on that. And Sidi Njai's unbecoming behavior. But again, I blame Barrow for that, but we'll come to that. Barrow is the one who thrust Sidi Njai onto the Gambian population after all the things he did before. But we will come to that in due course.
Good. I want us to respond to President Barrow. You know, when the Sidinjai issue took center stage in the social media space and in the newsprint space, it's very typical of this government. They have an unsavory issue on the table. They create a crisis and use that crisis to deflect from people talking about
the deflection and distraction,
and the deflection and the
distraction
that they bring on people. Sidinjai made these comments, and Barrow's response was, "We all make mistakes. We are all human beings, and human beings make mistakes. But when we make those mistakes, we don't need to criticize the individual who makes that mistake publicly. We can bring them in-house. Let's talk about it in-house and deal with it at that level without it going into the public domain." I take that to mean that he was responding to Maimuna Sise Dabo's condemnation of Sidinjai. I think Maimuna on record is the only one who has repudiated what Sidinjai has said. And for that, Barrow had to reprimand her very publicly by saying, you know, people who are in the same business don't go out publicly to criticize each other. And once Barrow made that statement, nobody criticized Sidinjai anymore. Now, for President Barrow to actually defend CD, to say the statements he made were a mistake, is a bit disingenuous. The statements that Sidinjai made were very clear, very precise, with examples.
Yeah.
You cannot turn that around and say, no, he made a mistake. He didn't make a mistake. It was deliberate. And we are saying it was deliberate because that is how NPP deliberately uses the tribal card against the UDP.
Exactly.
This didn't start today. It started in 2021 when, in Barrow's presence, the late Dembo by force made a serious assault on Mandinkas, verbal assault on Mandinkas. Barrow was clapping for him. All the NPP guys were clapping for him. Basically, he said, if UDP wins that election, they are going to send every foreigner packing.
Not just foreigner, but for him, people who are perceived foreigners, he said, yes, we want to send away the Fullers, the Jolas, yes, etc.
He was very clear about the ethnic composition.
And that betrays his own thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said that, and Baron and Co, they were all clapping for him because in their thinking, he has inflicted enormous damage on his own ethnic group. Yeah. And then you hear people like Demba Sabali saying we will spill blood so that Barrow stays on that chair. Ahmad Bah saying election will lunekalanyu jaral. This election, it's a do or die.
We prepare to do anything.
We are prepared to do anything to remain in power. And then you have Sehum Balo saying it's a Fuller government, and he goes ahead and names Fullers. And then Barrow himself saying, I will never betray Fullers because my wife, my mother is a Jalo, my wife is a Ba. Yeah. So Fullers can be guaranteed that I will never betray them. And then Sidinjai's declarations on Mandinkas. Let me be clear. Sidinjai is saying UDP is preventing people from voting. It's patently untrue. What UDP is trying to do is to ensure that our election integrity is maintained. And the way to maintain that election integrity is to make sure that only those who are eligible to register get registered. You cannot transport people from neighboring countries, bring them into the country and attempt to register them. It's against the Electoral Act. It's a violation of the Act. And it's a fraud. And it undermines the basic functional integrity of our electoral system. There is only one party in this country that is doing that, and that is the NPP.
Yeah.
Basically what Sidinjai is saying, leave us alone, let us register our foreigners or ineligible voters, because they are registering literally children.
Yeah.
Leave us alone, let us register them. We can rig the election, win, and continue the rot that is going on. That's basically the message he's trying to send. He is angry because UDP is preventing him from doing that. UDP is preventing them from doing that.
Yeah.
That is their source of anger. Now, what that brings us to is that at the same Nyanija meeting, Sidinjai was dishing out money. He was dishing out money, dancing, enjoying himself, thumbing his nose on Gambians. And yes, the video clip is right there. This is somebody who could not pay his rent before he got into government. He gets into government.
A few years ago.
Yeah, just 5-6 years ago.
Yep.
He gets into government, and now he's dishing out money, which is not commensurate with his income or earning capacity. Question is, where is that money coming from?
Yeah.
And how is Sidinjai thumbing his nose to Gambians so very publicly? And by the way, it was President Barrow who was supposed to go to that function. He delegated Sidi to go. Basically, the disrespect for Gambians by these people is unquantifiable. The disrespect is unquantifiable. Barrow has no business appointing Fabakary Tombonjata as Speaker, Sidinjai as Deputy Speaker, and then giving them the space to just make it impossible for the country to come together with one voice, with one mission, and that is to keep the national identity and cohesion of the Republic of the Gambia. These are bad guys.
Yeah.
And there is no other way to describe them. Fabakary introduced the motion to declare, for Jammeh to declare a state of emergency in the aftermath of the 2016 election. Sidinjai famously stood and said Barrow is not going to be inaugurated on Gambian soil. And sure enough, Barrow was not inaugurated in Gambian soil. If those people are now Barrow's political bedmates, then you know there is something fundamentally wrong with our country and with the conscience of those who make these decisions. And in this case, it's just one individual who is making it, and that is President Barrow using his appointive prerogative to put these rogue people in these positions. I'll stop there.
Yeah, Larry, it is a trend, and it's symptomatic of NPP and its misdemeanors, if I can put it that politely. As you said, when the Dembo by force came out and made those statements, a truly respectful government would have called him to order. Said, you cannot say that. We are trying to bring the Gambian people together to unite this country around a common vision, around a common program of government. And you cannot do this to split the country asunder. But nobody was bothered by that in NPP, least of all Adama Barrow. He was happy about that. And what is even more astounding was that at the end of the elections, that man came out and said to us, well, what I said was actually false, but I did it because we had an election to win.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You can stoop that low? That is what was really, really disheartening about the whole thing. Maybe disheartening is politely, was revolting and disgusting. That happened then. And they say, well, okay, this election, we put it behind us. He's no more today. So Sidinjai just steps exactly into those same shoes and is doing the same bidding.
Yep.
And nobody in NPP finds that unacceptable and unconscionable. because this is absolutely unconscionable that somebody in that position who has been thrust into the position of Deputy Speaker and Deputy Spokesperson for NPP can stand up there and say such nonsense. And it doesn't bother President Barrow or the people around him. That is unacceptable. You see, that goes to show what they've been saying. They are prepared to do anything, anything to stay in power.
To stay in power.
And why is that? Because these people have been involved in massive fraud, corruption, and all manners of misbehavior. And they are worried that once they leave power, those things will come to light, and they will have to answer for their actions. That's why they're prepared to do anything to stay in power. But what they should know is that we are also prepared to fight legally within the confines of the law
and the Constitution
to make sure that they do not subvert the laws and the Constitution of this country. We will do anything within the confines of the law to make sure that their mismanagement will come to an end on the 5th of December 2026. We have a country to save. They don't care, but they have a pocket to save. That's what they're worried about, and bank accounts. That's what they're worried about. We're worried about our country. And we will not let them destroy this country. We will keep speaking out. We will keep campaigning against them, keep telling the Gambians, reminding them constantly why this government is so corrupt, why they are so hell-bent on getting us into a fraudulent election, into a mismanaged election, into an election which will have no integrity. That's what they are working towards.
Whose outcome can be questioned.
Yes, and even determined beforehand. Like they did in 2021 when Ibrahim Silakeva said, we know what we've done. This time we will not sit and have that happen. We have been preparing for this for 4 years plus. You see, this country has to come back to the normal democratic dispensation. A government that blatantly tells the country, we're going to steal this election, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're telling them, you've got news for you. We can do something about it, and we'll do something about it. We'll stop you from cheating, from stealing these elections. We told you, you don't believe us. You didn't believe. Now you're seeing the reality. Our people all over the country are standing up to them. Right? And for me, the encouraging part is that thus far, IEC has been doing the job they have been entrusted to do. We tell them, continue like that. That's what we want to see from you. That is your job. That is why you are appointed. And we applaud you for doing that. Because I give an example. Yesterday, we had some cases in Badibu. Some people who were refusing to concede the ineligibility of people they brought to vote. They were challenged, and it was found out that they are non-Gambian. And the NPP operatives who were there insisted that they must be elected, they must be registered. And our people said, no way. The IEC said, no way. And somebody was trying to lean on them. And I took up my phone when I was informed to call the IEC officials, and they took care of the matter. According to the law, no fear or favor, no ill will, nothing, nothing. So they just sat there and did the right thing. And this is what we expect of IEC. Conduct free, fair elections and be equidistant from all the political operators. You are the referee. You do what is required of you by the law. So when people attack them and say, oh, UDP, you're being soft on IEC, I said, no, we're not soft on them. We are saying the things as they are. When they were not performing the way they should have, we came out and said
we were criticizing.
Yes. Them. So when they do the right thing, it's incumbent upon us to also come out and say you're doing the right thing. Go on. We encourage you for that.
And that's what honest professionals.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what we're doing today. You know, like the same thing. I digress here, but I think it's important. A few days ago, when people came out and said the election material which was stolen in Sanyang, that IEC is behind, I said no, they are not. Because immediately that happened, I was informed. We called each other. We tried to make sure that things were back to normal. And IEC was heavily involved in ensuring that the police investigate that matter quickly. It was investigated quickly. And again, I doff my hat to the police. Within a couple of hours, the culprit was found, arrested, and the material recovered from him. So this was a gentleman who apparently is not entirely stable psychologically. So he was the one who went to steal those materials. He said he wanted to burn down the place because IEC wouldn't register him because he was ineligible. So he wanted to burn down the place. But instead of burning it down, he got an electric, he was more or less electrocuted and decided to steal some things and run away. But they were recovered from him. So again, I say to people, let us be critical where criticism is due, but let us be fair as well. IEC so far as we can see, has been fair, has been above board, and has been equidistant from all the parties. So when we say anything, let's make sure that it's based on truth, because that's what we do. Everything we say is evidence-based and is based on fact. We don't go for conjecture. We don't go for false accusations. So I'm not here to defend IEC or hold brief for them. They can do that for themselves. But it behoves us all to be fair to each other. And being fair to IEC is saying what they are doing right. That would allow us and give us the authority to say, you are playing rogue if they do.
Yeah, I think all over the world, the role of an independent electoral commission is to operate and function in an impartial, neutral manner. In electoral bodies that behave like that tend to preside over elections with integrity.
Exactly.
Electoral bodies that are partial, that are not neutral, tend to produce electoral results that can be questioned and eventually can lead to social
chaos.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is why when the IEC does something wrong, we criticize. But when they do something right also, we need to acknowledge that.
Exactly.
And give them the credit where the credit is due.
Absolutely.
But knowing the people that we are dealing with in the NPP, they're going to turn around and say IEC is UDP.
Yeah.
That's what they will do. Because,
and I wouldn't be surprised. And that's why we need to caution people also to be fair with IEC, because they can't be caught all the time constantly between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
Because when you have people like Sidinjai who want to subvert these elections at all costs, and IEC is doing their part and saying we will do what the law requires of us, meaning we do at least our basic verifications, because the law says whoever comes to submit a document for registration, the document has to be authentic and valid. I keep insisting on that. And in fact, the other day I had the deputy chair of the IEC say exactly the same thing on Kerfatu. The documents have to be authentic and valid. So IEC has the duty to ensure that those documents that are brought by the people who come to register are authentic and valid. If they are, yes, you register them. And if in spite of that we find that these documents may be authentic and valid, but these people are not entitled to those documents, or there's something wrong here, then we go to revising court, right? But you do not register them simply because they come with documents. The documents have to be verified that they are authentic and valid.
What they want is just, so long as there is an attestation, just close your eyes and
that's what NPP wants.
Yeah.
NPP wants that because that is what they wanted to do, to be able to massively register eligible voters and come to the 2021 situation where they will say, we know what we've done.
Yeah.
It won't happen this time.
Yeah.
And we told you, but you don't listen. We told you won't steal these elections again. And we're going to fight to make sure that doesn't happen. You don't steal these elections. But when a government is intent on stealing and they tell you, we are going to steal, whatever you do, we'll steal. Well, we have to stand up to them and tell them, well, we too are telling you that you will not steal. And we will do what it takes to stop you from stealing.
I mean,
within the confines
what
of the
I
law.
find ironic about the behavior of NPP, as we have seen during this supplementary electoral registration process. What I find intriguing or even baffling is this is an incumbent government that is not running on its programs.
On its achievements.
On its achievements. And for 10 years, 10 years, Barrow has failed the test of leadership in all categories. And for 10 years, everything that goes wrong in this country is wrong in this country. It's UDP's fault.
How do you abdicate in government?
We are not in government. How do you abdicate your constitutional responsibility like that? And your people still think you are fit to rule. They know he's not fit to rule. And they know they cannot win these elections free, fair, and transparent. And that is why they get very angry when our agents and IEC follows the law to say eligible voters will register, ineligible voters will not register. It is always UDP's fault. For 10 years, we've been hearing this. And for 10 years, Barrow has been telling people, oh, UDP is the tribalist, UDP is the anti-this, anti-that. You know what I have decided recently after hearing Barrow defending Sidinjai on this anti-Mandinka rhetorics? I decided, you know what? Barrow is not going to take responsibility for anything. He will never take responsibility for the failures of his macroeconomic policy, for the failures of his fiscal policy, for the failure of offering Gambians an affordable lifestyle. And all of that is capped Lamin. Recently, they released a press statement to say, Ministry of Energy, to say the price of fuel will be reduced to about $75 from its current 112 per liter. And everybody clapped. It hasn't happened. It's still the same. Yesterday, I went to the fuel station to buy fuel. It's still the same price. But they had brought into the public domain this idea that we will roll back the price because we have given a subsidy.
And that's not true. It's not going to happen, Larry.
No.
Because this government lives off taxes.
They can't go without taxes.
The subsidy they say they give, why didn't the petrol price at the pump come down if they've given the subsidy? Because the subsidies are not given to the people who buy the fuel. The subsidies are given to the people who import the fuel, who happen to be their friends. Those are the ones who get the subsidies, not the common Gambian consumer. We don't get any subsidy at the pump. What we get is more taxes at the pump to be able to pay for their lifestyle, to pay for their corruption, to pay for their constant and unending borrowing in this country. That's what we are paying for.
I think there are three
and their lack of planning and foresight.
I think there are 3 or 4 different taxes at the pump. And all of that feeds into the GRA's annual tax collection threshold.
All of that. GRA and NRA, Ministry of Finance, stroke Ministry of Finance.
You take those taxes out, they won't meet their tax revenue threshold.
And their loan repayments, because the $75 million currency swap that they took from Abstraction Bank is coming from the money we pay at the pump. They borrow that money unduly, and we are paying for it.
Anyway, Barrow has failed us as a country, as a people, in his leadership style. No leader should condone or even defend a tribalist statement like Sidinjai's. The fact that he's been doing it over the years is testament to that failure. Secondly, everything that goes wrong in this country, everything that seems to go wrong in this country, it's UDP's fault.
And if I can just say something there, Larry, a good leader doesn't pass responsibility
to anybody.
The buck stops with you.
With him.
He is the leader of this government. He is the one who stole the elections in 2021 to force himself on us, which will end on December 5th, 2026. But until then, he is the leader of this country, albeit usurped but he is the leader. So you don't pass that responsibility to somebody, and the buck stops with him.
Yep.
What is wrong in this country is his responsibility, albeit he doesn't understand what is happening in this country or anywhere in the world. This guy is bereft of any understanding of how the world economy works. So they tell him anything and he runs with it. But that's why we need to remove him.
Yeah, that's why you know, we're talking about NAWEC water and all. Nothing is going right on that score. And you recall 3 years ago, he says, no, we have electricity. The problem is synchronization. Well,
see, they should have asked him, what is synchronization?
Mr. President is still synchronizing, or at least trying to synchronize.
He doesn't even understand what synchronization was all about.
They gave him a word, he ran with it,
exactly.
went to a press, public domain and said, no, there is electricity, our problem is synchronization.
But you remember shortly after that, he came and said, actually now we have so much power, we are switching off these generators
and are selling it to other people.
Yeah, and just at that point, the power went off where he was.
Yes, now we are faced with this power rationing. That is so serious. But finally, something came up 2 days ago. You know, we were commenting that the University of the Gambia is producing average 3,000 young graduates per annum. And we are also saying, we also said, we don't know how the economy is going to absorb all those people, because the economy is not, as much as they tout its growth potential, you don't see how the economy is growing at 6% per annum. 2 days after that graduation thing, the Statistics Bureau released at an ungodly hour. They released a jobs report.
2 a.m.
And the jobs report says Barrow has created 163,000 jobs. Now, for me, I scratched my head. I said, oh, 163,000. He said he was going to create 150,000. Now it's 163,000.
He's overperformed.
He's overperformed. And that's what they are peddling. But I mean, I did my homework on this one. What he is actually talking about is far from creating jobs. You know, they did a head count in the civil service. Having a certain number of people working doesn't mean you have created that number of jobs. What we are talking about, 150,000 income earning employable positions that he says he was going to create. And he has failed dismally. Every year he's been failing. I think this is the second year or third year that he's saying, I'll create 150,000 jobs. And there is rampant unemployment in this country. With the rampant unemployment, you have a serious spike in inflation. Cost of living is expensive. You don't get electricity the way you should get it. You don't get water the way you should get it. You go to the hospitals. It's the same old song. This is a failed system. Failed in the sense that they are unable to deliver the basic social services that Gambians need. Health, education, water, sanitation, electricity.
And if you look at it, Larry, they will never publish for you where those 163,000 jobs were created.
No.
Because take the government job creation. The government creates employment essentially in the civil service and the parastatals, right? Plus the security forces, etc. The civil service of this country, that includes the teachers, etc. It's about 55,000 people.
Teachers, nurses, doctors.
Yes, so 55,000 people, roughly. And that has been there essentially before Barrow came.
It's inherited.
So he may have created a few thousand jobs here and there in the civil service for teachers and nurses probably. But this is what we have in the civil service and was there before he came. The security forces, the police has been recruiting, you know, every now and then people for the PIU and for crowd control, I believe, etc. And that is coming where?
And also in the army. Don't forget the army.
No, I'm getting to the army. But the police have been recruiting what? About a couple of hundreds or thousands every year. That's it. Not even 1,000, a couple of hundred every year. That's what they've been creating. The army is the same thing, right? Where are the other jobs coming from in the public sector? They will tell you, oh, we've been enabling creation of jobs in the private sector. Where? Where?
The private sector is actually worse.
The private sector in the Gambia
Especially
is
the tourism
essentially informal.
Mm.
Essentially informal.
Yeah.
So where have they created 163,000 jobs? It's total nonsense. It hasn't happened. But these people just keep telling us stories and they will just upload like that without checking. We do our due diligence. Tell us where you created 663,000 jobs. It's nowhere. They're just telling us stories. And Gambians will not buy it because Gambians know when their kids go unemployed after school. Gambians know when people who lose their jobs can't find other jobs because there are no job creation in the country. People who want to go into the private sector to start their own businesses can't afford it because the money is unaffordable. You go to banks, you're looking at interest rates of around 20%. Where can you get money for that to start a business? We talked about creating banks to finance those sort of activities for the youth and women folk. They don't do anything like that. They promised it never happened. So where did you create the 163,000 jobs? It's not true. It's just simply not true. They have not created even 50,000 jobs.
No, even 50,000 is too much.
What? I would say even that they have not created. And they will tell you, oh, yeah, we build schools. You know, I heard them say they build something like 11 schools or so every week or every day. I don't know. And that is total nonsense as well.
Since it was debunked and the source of funding.
And that is MRC Holland that's doing that. Yeah. They're not creating 11 schools, 11 classrooms every week or month. It's not possible. Yeah. You know. So this government is just bent on spinning falsehoods to us all the time, thinking we are too dumb to check.
Well, some of us do.
Some of us do. Yeah. And we're going to call you out constantly.
Yeah, some of us do.
So in the election year, those lies will come all the time. So Gambians, watch out for that. Those lies will come all the time. We're in election year. But check for yourselves what you're living, whether it's consistent with what they're saying. It's not.
What I want to close this so we can go into the local languages is to say to our viewers and listeners all over the place, all over the country, all over the world, that this is the final week for the supplementary registration.
Yes, yes.
People need to go out, register, and vote these people out of government.
Out of power.
Just vote them out. Yeah. The only way you can do that is to register. And when you register, make sure you are eligible to register. You are 18 years old, you are a Gambian. You register in a place where you live or in a place where you were born. And people can attest to your presence in those communities.
And you are 18 years or more.
Yes, 18 years or more. Don't let them bring in people outside of your communities to register. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. They should live in that community to register there. Don't let export registration to happen. Finally, when you register, go out there and vote. I hear a lot of people saying, ni den such an election, I'm not going to go. Go and vote. They haven't stolen the election. They will not steal the election. It's a psychological warfare that they're making you feel like your votes don't count, but every single vote counts. Every one vote counts. So go out there and vote, people. Vote them out. Show them your displeasure. Show them that for 10 years they haven't had that impact on your lifestyle that they should have had. And finally, his party, his supporters are touting the roads. Oh, but Barrow's roads will have an impact on the election. Sure, they will have an impact on the election. Because he will go and tell you, I built X kilometers worth of roads. The question you should ask them is the quality of those roads and how much those roads cost, the unit cost of those roads. When they tell you that, just don't buy what they tell you verbally. Tell them to be transparent to bring out those contracts. When they bring out those contracts, that's when you will see the rot that goes on into this road building.
Yeah. Along those lines, the road construction is where you have the highest amount of corruption in any country, anywhere, potentially. Now, when that potential becomes real, as in the case in the Gambia, then we need to worry. When the government gets so involved in road construction in this country, it's because that is where the prices are overinflated, where the quality is hugely substandard, where they can build roads, according to them, at very high cost for very poor quality, which will become a liability for us because we have to maintain them. But even more seriously, we have to pay back those loans. And monies that have been diverted from the road construction to God knows where. And we have to pay back those amounts of money. And that is what they're telling us. Don't buy it. The road construction is just a fallacy. It's just a way of distracting you
money
and making themselves rich and making you poorer because you have to pay those loans back. And loans which didn't go into road construction, a small percentage of that money goes into road construction. I will never tire of citing Batil Harding and the OIC secondary roads. Batil Harding, $204 million to build a 22-kilometer road is absolutely wrong.
A road that would cost 25 million.
22 million.
Yeah.
22 million. And tell me I've spent 204 million. It means that potentially $182 million have disappeared.
Yeah, into thin air.
And we will audit that. And that's why they are scared. We will conduct forensics audits into those things. Secondary roads, they tell you $50 million to build 50 kilometers. And that could not have cost more than $12 to $15 million.
Yes.
Maximum. Where did the money go? This is why these people are scared. This is why they want to steal these elections, because they fear what could happen to them when they lose these elections. And this is the government that does not campaign to win an election based on their performance, because they have nothing to sell you. All they are campaigning to do is to register illegible voters because they know that you wouldn't vote for them. You know what they are doing is wrong. So they are trying to steal these elections. And they are telling you that outright. So if they had won the confidence of the Gambians through their performance, they wouldn't be seeking to register ineligible voters, minors and foreigners. They wouldn't be doing that. They would be campaigning to the Gambians and touting their achievements. That's what they were doing. But they cannot do that because they haven't achieved anything. They have no tangible results to show this country.
In fact, that's what incumbent governments do.
Yes.
You run on your performance and your program.
An opposition will sell its program, a credible program for people to buy.
Yeah.
But a government, you show the country what you've done.
Yeah.
And what we've done so far is we're having all of our state assets being sold. Now we're giving us the mysteries of our lives. You know, no electricity, no water anywhere in the country. You know, telecom's not working.
I mean, let's conclude by saying the biggest commodity in the Barrow government is tribalism.
Yeah.
That is the biggest commodity they are selling to voters. And they are appealing to the fears of voters who, for one reason or another, believe in their ethnic vitriolics that they puke in the public domain. What they have is a trump card they call tribalism. They think they can pit us against one another using the tribal card. They think they can scare people against one another because of the tribal card. And they think they can win this election using the tribal card and the fear factor that comes with the tribal card. If you listen to those audios from Sidinja, you listen to Sekumbalo, you listen to Barrow himself, you realize that this group has nothing to offer us but division.
No.
Instead of uniting us, making us one unified nation, indivisible, they are doing everything possible to disunite us using ethnic vitriolics. And I think that is very sad for this country. The other sad part of this equation is Gambian adults in the political system, in the government, in the local government areas, bringing in ineligible voters to register to vote. It's like our national sovereignty does not matter to these individuals. And our national sovereignty should matter. Some of us carry only one passport, the Republic of the Gambia issued passport. Nothing else. We have nowhere to go but to remain in this country. And if we don't keep the sanctity of that republic, we are doomed.
Yeah, and Larry, what is so disheartening to me is that when you see this government out there and telling people that we have these ethnic groups coming to see the president every now and then, and he's entertaining one ethnic group one day, another ethnic group the other day,
and telling them different
and telling them things that are going to pit them against each other. We are not a juxtaposition of tribes in this country. We want to be an amalgamation of tribes to form a nation, the nation of the Gambia. That's what we want to form. We want to form a nation, not a juxtaposition of tribes. Stop trying to exploit the tribal phenomenon to win an election, because all you're doing is sowing the seeds of conflict and
discord,
and danger for this country today, tomorrow. We cannot have this, and we are smarter than that as Gambians. We have a few people who are really working against the interests of the country. Let us isolate those people. Let us point them out. Let us take them on so that the Gambians see who are these people and what they are trying to do to this country, and the rest of us come together and build a nation where we can all live together in harmony
and
in compete
peace.
for things.
And in peace.
That's normal. We can compete for things. That's what the electoral process is all about. Democracy can be messy, but it's the best we have. And you know, as somebody put it, but let's do that. Let's work towards that. Let's work in harmony and peace. We don't have to think the same thing. We don't have to believe in the same things. And is that contradiction of ideas. That's what brings the best out of us all.
Yeah.
We don't fear competition of ideas. We don't fear people challenging what we think. What we fear is people trying to make us think exactly the same way, unicity of thought. That is not on. Or trying to use the tribal card against us. That is not on. And people trying to tell us in our face that we are working for the country when you're only working for yourself and your pocket and your families. We, as you said, could have had passports and documents from other countries, but we chose not to. That doesn't mean that other people should not. They should, and they will if they want to. That's their right and their prerogative.
It's a choice.
You know, it's a choice. And that can be very enriching for us anyway, because they live elsewhere, they bring other experiences, other capacities, and we put it together and we build this country. We have absolutely no reason nothing against that, which is why we're saying the diaspora will be fully integrated into the socio-political fabric of this country when we come to power. They can hold any position, and they will be represented in parliament. They will have MPs. They will have,
they'll have the right to vote.
To vote and be elected, So we will make sure that happens. So we are encouraging people from the Gambia who live elsewhere to follow the law and become citizens of those countries if they wish to do so, and to vote, and to learn things and bring other capacities and expertise to the country. We chose to come back and live here and work here, right? It's our prerogative as well. But we are saying, whoever you are, wherever you live, and whatever you do as a profession, let's all love this country. Let's all fight for this country. The people living outside do not hate this country, so don't discriminate against them. They are left this country to go and make a living elsewhere. That doesn't mean that they don't love this country. That's why they are sending money constantly to this country. 2024, it was $775.6 million that came from them. $775.6 million came from the diaspora. Who does better anywhere? Nobody. So we are saying, unite the country, bring it together. Stop your tribally vitriolics in this country. It doesn't help anybody. And for God's sake, stop trying to steal an election. Go for it honestly. If you lose and step out your head high. You've tried. There's nothing wrong in trying and losing. What is wrong is stealing and trying to steal. Let's do it properly.
Yeah, but Lamin, you try to steal when you are clean, when you are not clean.
Yeah.
When you are clean,
and when you are afraid
go
of,
through an election.
And when you are afraid of accountability.
Yes, you go to an election, win or lose, you maintain your dignity.
Yeah.
And your prestige. But when you see a government trying to steal, they are hiding something. Anyway.
You know, just to conclude on that, please, just 1 second. I was in Dakar when Wad and Abdoulaye Wade and Diouf were fighting it, slugging it out who's going to be president. It was tough. Diouf sentenced Wade to prison several times. Well, he didn't sentence. He had fights with him, and the judiciary sentenced him to prison several times. And that didn't stop him. Every time he came out, he came into a coalition government with Diouf, etc. They fought it very hard. And when in 2000, when Wade won the elections, Diouf was told by his people that no, we won these elections and we can manage this. We can, you know, they wanted him to rig the elections.
Yeah.
He called General Cisse at the time, who was the Minister of Interior. He called General Cisse and asked him, did we win the elections or not? General Cisse told him, Mr. President, we lost. And that was a gentleman, a man who served in the army, who know what honor meant. He told the president, we've lost. The president picked up the phone and called Wade and congratulated him.
Well, there was a lot of noise about who won.
Yes. He could have tried to rig the elections. He could have tried to use force
and
to stay in power.
He would have been successful.
He probably would have been successful. But he took up the phone and conceded victory to Wade and left the country after transition.
But on the advice of a Sekunda.
There you go. I knew you wouldn't miss that.
Those are men of honor.
I knew you wouldn't miss that.
Those are men of honor.
I'll concede that. But you know, the good thing is that the Sekunda showed the honor and told Diouf, we've lost.
We've lost.
And Diouf was a statesman and he conceded defeat. And Senegal is better off for it today.
Today, yes.
That is what we expect of a country to grow.
That would have retarded Senegal's progressive
Absolutely,
growth.
they have gone into conflict had they refused. They have gone into conflict.
Yes.
But he was statesmanly enough to say, yes, we've lost and I concede defeat, and he handed over.
And that's what men of conscience do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's go into the public, local languages. I think we can just give a summary in Mandinka and in Wolof.
Wolof, yeah.
And then save some time. Assalamu alaikum badimul. Juma Mubarak, balbe kontonal, tolnal kontonla, albe dunia dauda, aning banko kan dauda. Ntelam larisise mursana ning kafnyoma lamin mane, purkal kachandi kusabal labi. O kusabo be, atata nata baronin Sidi Njai lam. Sidi Njai kumolu fole, mandinkol ma, ka teleka mandinkol bay mansakunda doku wala. Atele katina mandinkol ibuke promote, ka palas bal dila. Sakone mu mandinkoti ya jeko ite be balafaring UDP le. Wala ye UDP le support Duma. Ako itol ateleka tinna kuodol kake anyama wonya. Kabra ofo Maimuna Sise fintita aya condemn. NPP kono Maimuna dronne diamuta kafu sidinja mem fotengo mandin kolma o manke silot. Amanya na ofal. Ar Maimuna Sise fanan jannuwo be kela atata kiyanne adiamuta je ay UDP nkolu ma bak aning Usenu fang. Barama mem fo mole wala Usenu ye kato men katela fo kono ala kabirabe futula wato men nafa dimul kulliyo. Anyway, Maimuna ye Sidi Njai kontar wala. baro fintitana ko sidin jaye mistake ko leke ay diamo menke diamo mistake ko lam andu molu nini molbe kuo kono comme itolbe npp nyame ni moye mistake ko ke jannibe lola iba kajafila mol nyala isa kumande bunkonal ya kacal ya banje baro la jabiro ketawal basically maimuna sise même fo abe wole tinyaka ka foko maimuna manyanna ofa
manyanna fintila ñi
manyanna fintila
ay tonya fo ñi
ay tonya fo sidi jay yo mol ba fo kanko sidi jay nyanta mol mandinkolu bolo saylale to awol ka fa me apology momo e sidi jay lo ne bal na fa sayale fisi atay ka foko nga mistake ko le kalin alal hako boyni atake
mistake nte
anyway, yeah. Mistake te adatita mbina adatita dembo by force la 2020 dembo by force le lota ko ni UDP winter fen ni manke Gambia dinguti be deport la le bonyim banko
sako ni manke mandinko
ate wala barobe sirin dembo by force ko ma be blocos la be jela be blocos la ko si tol fe dembo by force ye même fo o be mandinkol damage la anday mandinkol damage kat mol lata la le sako mol ya lonko men ya lonko ila global perspective miral nyaal mankili men ya lonko wol mu tribalist wol lata dembo la men ya lonko wol manke tribalist wol ya la ko momuta kuma kuntam le baraketal o botaje demba sabal lota ko a jarte tolye ye yelo bon pour baroytum presidential o botaje seku mbalo nata ako nyimu mansakunda fula mansakunda let president mu fulolet vice president mu fulolet ate mu fulolet minister of justice mu fulolet SIS Director General, NIA Director General Mufulolet, Chief Justice Mufulolet.
Heads of the police.
Heads of police be Mufulolet, Supreme Court niaji be fulasaba nim suruaki. Basically, aka memfo wala mnyintiko, mandinkol man sembe soto nyimbako. Sembo bentolle bulu banko bentolle. Karo fanga nata na kao champion ka foko, mbama mu jalloleti namuso mu baleti ntete fulolu jamfal nataje fanan aka siol killing kumandi state house anika kacha aka memfo siol ke kumu takinyola to bado lafta ale jele faham ka foko nyul dodo manke mistake oti nyul dodo manke accident nyul man fen soto be memfo la le nying election sans kon katu la programme ol man taratama naltata marché to alka bataje nyame ngatol yalon fengol dabe kuyari nyamal yalon naltata loptano to falka boro soto falbuka boro soto lew fanan lon karambongol fanan de nyame lew fanan lon naweka jio di molla nyame ngani ka courant di molla nyame oy buka di molla nyame lew fanan lon so nyim mansa kunda sanjitan ate kukilingo doron si faram fansindo ibe wol sanjitan yemman sakunda jabe maralola sanjitan amam fen sota be men fula foka mol ko mutaki nyola al salon ko man sakunda feltal because fem tinyata himbanko kan fem pareta tinyala himbanko kan barona la mol ka fa UDP kol man tara man sakunda atelebe man sakunda so nin tiñaro keta a telam nin dadaro keta fana a telam bari nga lonne ko dadar manke e ka silolu menu foten muna mobu ka silo domo ye sila beto dada molbe tamala silo kan ikono kensam konko be mindo be sino be walantol dolme moto soto ibe moto borendela o silo kan isanso dabu kama ni sanso soto ibe mirala mbe moto borindi la nyame pour sama naysan so kana tariya bat sabanjang akanyin silol men fote nyil nyon sila kurunte ke ali bato hani samayna serum be dulal to len kaje silol ka boko dalo nyinan ne be tambilawal nin sanjo nata nyin silol men be ake berol landi teng sanjo ba be woyla la sampa katu nyanta silo doku la nyama buka doku wonya bari silo nyanta doku la kodo men na wo kasia faat lanta tambita niaje nyilbe sila berela noma ibe sila dadala noma ibe sila dadalo kele be salo lola nyinam ika fenne soto je corruption o ni ko corruption o bana faaje ta sila doku la
dare ba ni ko ka fenne soto je o munta ko dikado ba ni soto bar ika beleta
well
ñulo kammin ta silo ko do to o dun siloto hekatu de ngay bari ngay jans jeedo manding nka batil hadi min fo jan batil hadi ko ya jullo dolaro ma fa dal sode dolaro million keme fula million nani ko ya lowol silo mi yalla ken kala million mo wanni fula dam maliti sila o million keme million tan seyni fulu tata min tole wolle ke sawarni sila do ko
something million different
182 million different wolle ke sawarni ko do be nyata dum sila akara do be ke to laji ko do man dindi ko kawle kaji anum to lebe o jola so ni ko do man dinta e ka beleta so yeah
anyway ni o fanam botaje lafta mbadingol kacandi lamen ñil mantara doku wala banko e imantara doku wala mo kenzon len tol mo kenzon ibe doku wala fanle ko ya fanyam silo men nyanta doku la million muannim fulala ni o doku million keme fulani sai
million na
you know a ko sembo wat
exactly
a balafa fana wat
ana ni toro
a balafa la waro muneti imam mol hati ne mol hati nyin tarsi fa bukaki ne mol hati ika kele ko loktano e borol soto doktorol e taraje masingol e taraje ka mol kiskisi ka dila boro e tara loktano ay tata dawda inta kata bolon kono le do ton kalole do ngani karo ke health center beta ngam fan sa sande ngata paracetamol fango e buka soto
are ne ke lo wakal on oran dubita ka school no ni sa sare da banyu lutano
yes
dibika dara so bonde
yes
ici docteur Osije et puis ça fait eta ikal alta si ni se kamero la min mane enana ko so manda ki wuraro kilin ki wulo kilin ya dil do la resisi so manda ki wuraro kilin ika boro di mo lol jam ka fenjo fa ya dile sey so ko te jar lutano fa ni de fa serum fa tra fa ko taraji antiseptic
yeah
you know
eka fumigate le ka pompe le pour
exactly je dum do bla do tout le ko bi ke no le muta
anyway lafta mo kum fala damen wala mu nyin election o men kana nyina mu lokun labamati registration o la karo mba fala moli mbal danil ale finti ale ta ale nalman carte o soto ale carte o soto nale carte o soto ale ta carte o fay al kana so moya fali ko ane carte o fay ken sanam ni carte o fay le be nyim mol boyndila ni man carte o fay ke to le makoy so al finti ale ta ale register bari nal be register la ale ke Gambia dingoti ale sanji tannin say soto al be register la damen ale boje loi wolef nal tata register dulato dame alon kal mam boje ni kalte register la al fangle o katu loi ko ICC mol kiskisi ka jibe kayto me banati la pour ka register si ke kayti senawte ay ke kayti tilimote ay ke mansa kunda la kayti sobe o bar woka keno munela i bota damen ibe sirin dame eta register o al kana so momo ya fale ka la carte o na ya fay kensen na ma onke kensen ani carte ke se kilin ni ya fay o carte ke se kilin wosi UDP ganyen di nola amansa kundata ni UDP mansa kundata ni nonsense o men bebe kering ko di pasaro men bebe kering ning ibe makanko drimolu momo nim momo wulta wea ta siya kuma baf ni pareta butu yenda mangol ku takinyola siol men ya lonko mbe sirim badingol lembe nyo futula mbe nyo kullila mbe nyo suturala ninni o bota yen kungul takinyola e president je me alonko wati ni wati aka siol kumandi ke nati state house aka même fo si mandin ko le woni fulol bukake kilinta aka même fo fulole woni surwal bukake aka même fo surwal woni jolal ni manjakol tabuka kilinta yewoje momo nyaton kala ibe molle ko mutakid de kanyo andu nyul man fen soto be même fo la mole lan sanji tan ibe nyim man sakunda fen na tinyata fen na nyanta tinyale ko UDP yalon teka wole fon na mole do ton ko he bari UDP le batata nimbaro wulta ko UDP le jankite baro wulta ko UDP le jankite par sanji tan atelebe sirin UDP man tara siran bari wo be me itandi wala mu nyinti ko imam fen sote si me wa fal si faram fansi do yo wala wa fal
mera do ko no imantilin no to jabe ka fo no wala bije ni wante man sakunda ibe mun tala bi ko wala la mol ka ni nyanta ka tele nyanta kala ni ngana mo jo ka detail la ning fofu me jimba ko kan ya dulo ska ya detail la pour ya ka nyam wala kay rosodo ni nga man ke tele o sago so UDP ntole ma ni nga ban ko talu minna dul tafala karelin kare ntole nyanta min kala be wala kala nga fon tole nga nyinke jang boyta janne nga taku fala ni naktam boyta ma ke kudin boyta dami baro boyta siyala jama kadro kamin ken ka be jubele nga be ku son kende ka nga singa lo ko ko janim bakela andu din sita nyimba ko kan ko mo la fala metam faye manela bar ni aje ko kamol la la UDP le ka kuma le te da ko kuta fen ku fente kuto da fo fonyo ken sen kuma le te da imara bi fala moli no te yane UDP la ko ke jarke nyen ite kamen ko ko be la ka sala ba ko le ngalo yalo ko ite nyin ke jange yin ke jang bare bi ka wona foto angay silo do ko yes silo do ko to ray tata da ba silo do ko ya do ko adala ya do ko ay beteya wena fasuta bar silo do ko mi yalon ko be bin jola je wala na tambitale sunya ro fumata wonte do ko kendete silo do ko fana mol men nyanta silo tal hani paso fo ta so no katum fente bulo we wona famunela wala silo do ko mol mi yalon ko man taxi jo fa so no wala silo tala di
wala silo do ko sanjo e ke silo e boko dalo
yo yew dum ka do wonde suwol ko
ni mol man kuntela lamin ba so do man dintro lafta mol hakilo bulan lamen kudan nin kunta urtem kilometers tannin sayla kabo kudan sate o kata kunta urbadal sate labango men bije ka fo je ida 18 kilometers la kilometer tannin say 2016 ya contrat ko di kawsilo doko ya boyta contrat ko nin kodo e borata silo man doko 2017 ye contrat ko di modo contrat ko do fanan mola ate sila kilin kada da o fana kodo ta ndema le ka molla kodo di nyin contrat ko la ya la contrat ko bele jo one time signa kilin
ya fana bi ke bo
ya jodron katapila tabul moto tabul hani jitanko tabul bidon e kata bidon le fusa te o kono kasilo do ko
Allah
ikata gredas loas daily sapo ikana ka silo do baro silo bi amandoko abanya 2020 election obina baroka ba do ko le contrat ko di kote ke o fana ko do tata so sila kilin contract saba silo mambang hanibi sama kono hani cycle buka borindi noji imol ka fo wala entolbe banku doku wala mantara banku doku la ibe doku wala faunle anila jibor mol si wala ala baraka nga fenke suru account na kacha suru account prun sita iko wato sita
okay assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah maa ngi leen di nuyu yéen ñëpp si ku nekk tur ak santam di leen jox seen wàccuwaay ba mat sëkk di leen wax ne dellusiwaat nag pour waxtaan ak yéen affaire yi réew mi ñëwee di Gambia bi want tey lañ bëggoon a waxtaan ak yéen mooy mbiri registration bi nekk di xew ci réew mi ñu ko supplementary voter registration maanaam mooy koo xam ne yow binduwuloo woon 2021 nga bëgg a bindu léegi pour mën a sànni carte December 5th 2026 nga dem fi ñëw bindoo nga dem bindoo fa koo xam ne bindu nga woon 2021 waaye sa carte bi dafa réer wala dafa yaaxu wala lu ko mën a jot rek te xam ne doo ko mën a sànni carte nga dellu ci registration centre si ñu jox la beneen carte wuruñ ko ay replacement waaye rek ma fàttali leen rek ku xam ne sama dafa réer wala dafa yaaxu bul dem uti carte bu ees parce que dafa nekk double registration te bëgguñ loolu loi bi nangu ko su réeree wala dafa yaaxu da ngaa dem ñu jox la beneen carte rek dañoo replace bi nga amoon moom nga yelloo doo dem nga bindu waate génn nga dem ne man maa ngi tudd Lamine Mané maa ngi bindu 2021 suma carte dafa réer wala dafa yaaxu mu ngi nii su fekkee da nga yaaxu nga won leen ko te dafa réer nga wax leen ko dañ naa jox reissue beneen carte soo mën a sànni carte koo xam ne amuloo woon fukki at ak juróom-ñett 2021 te léegi di nga am fukki at ak juróom-ñett on the 5th of December 2026 kon baal leen maaxa nga dem nga bindu bul ne man daal politique bokkuma ci soo bugguma bindu damal bindu rek soo bëggut a sànni carte moom ngaa téye sa carte bi waaye soo binduwul pare nga toog bi yàgg da nga ne man digga war naa sànni carte dafa fekkee too late doo mën a sànni carte soo demal nga bindu téye sa carte te liggéey sa mooy nga bindu pare sànni carte on the 5th of December loolu la ñoo ñaan ñëpp waaye nag pour bindu da ngaa nekk Gambien njëlbeen da nga nekk Gambien ñaareel nga am fukki at ak juróom-ñett koo xam ne doo Gambien wala amuloo fukki at ak juróom-ñett doo ko am bi on the 5th of December bool bindu parce que da ngay yaaxal waa te yaaxal waa bu moom lañ ci teg comme yar dafa diis lool soo bu ci dugal sa boppa loolu la ñu ñaan ñëpp fi mu nekk li des ci registration bi 1 week rek la benn semaine rek na ku nekk fexe rek dem bindu pour ñu mun koo def on time loolu lañ leen a ñaan maa yëgal ne waxtu bi jeex na waaye ngeen may ma tuuti rek ma jekkali wax yi nii li ñoo gis ci réew mi mooy ne nguur gi ñoom dañ toog ne foog ñu sàcc élection bii ñëw ñu leen kenn du ko fi sàccee jàggoon nañ koo wax ñeneenti at a ngi nii ñu koo wax ne dañoo liggéey pour élection bii ñëw nii mu mën a set kenn du ko fi sàcc ki gañe mu nga xam ne kii moo gañe kii daanu mu xam ne man dama daanu nga dem toog aar 2031 ci loolu lañ nekk waaye lañ gis ci nguur gi mooy dañoo jëlee ay nit bitim réew ay doxandéem di leen indi pour ñu sànni carte utal leen carte ñii xam ay xalal yoo xam ne amuñ fukki at ak juróom-ñett ñu dañ leen bind dañu leen ñëw pour ñu bindu pour sànni carte loi bi daf ko tere da ngay nekk doomi réew bi nga am fukki at ak juróom-ñett fukki at ak juróom-ñett waaw soo li ci nekk mooy nguur gi xam nañ ne Gambie dañ raxasu ci ñoom duñ leen sànnil carte ñu ne xaar ñu uti doole ci bitim réew ñëw indi ko pour ñu sànni ñu carte ñun ñu leen du xew duñ ko nangu koo xam ne bitim réew nga jógee bul sonal sa bopp loo ci jëlee nag yaa ko wutal sa bopp te loolu gënaluñu li ñu gënal koy xam ne gan nga ñëw fii toog fii daan fi sa doole loo mun na def rek nga def ko fii ci yoon waaye bul yaaxal yoon bul yaaxal luwaay yi bul jalgati suñ constitution suñ luwaay yi demal nga toog a liggéey daan sa doole nga dund fi dunda bu sell waaye bul yaaxal luwaay yi élection ñu ko moom bàyyee ñu ko li ñoo gis tey comme que xam nañ ne duñ mën a gañee ñu ne xaar ñu fitna moo tax ñu ne lii jaral na leen lu nekk jaral na leen tuur deret dem ba saabalee ko wax jaral na leen lu nekk Amat Ngañ Kumba Baaw moo ko wax Seexu Mbalo lépp ci teg moom daw raw ñun dañ leen ne da ngay sànni carte ci yoon ci réew mi li yoon teral nga toppa loolu loo ko defut nag moom dinañ jàkkaarloo ak yow de parce que duñ bàyyi kenn ku yàq réew mi duñ bàyyi kenn ku jalgati suñ luwaay lim leen jaral nañu lu ko ëppa waaye ñun dañoo farle yoon ak suñ luwaay suñ constitution bi yéen da ngeen ko bëgg a yàq te boo leen bëgg a yàq constitution bi ak suñ luwaay ñun wargal la ci ñun doomi réew yëpp ñu taxaw lu constitution bi xeex pour mu taxaw so nañ xeex pour suñ constitution bi taxaw soo mu ko yàqal loi bi soo mu koy tuur deret fii jaral nañ lu nekk pour ñu stop loolu itam soo kenn du ko fi yàq soo ko xam ne la bëgg a indi fii pour nga sànni carte te yelloo woo ko xalaatal ñaari yoon di nga jaakaarloog ñun di nga jaakaarloog loi bi te di nga jaakaarloog yàlla bés boo jógee fii dem bés penc moom loolu moom waaye soo ragalut yàlla yi ragaloo bés penc loolu sa affaire la waaye ñun di nga jaakaarloog ñun te duñ la bàyyi nga yàq suñu loi duñ la bàyyi ngay jalgati suñu loi yi soo nañ ci bàyyi xel Sidi Ndiaye lim fi nekkee di wax loolu gars yi dañ ko luñ pare woon la bu yàgga dañ ko tooga bu yàgga defoon nañ ko fi 2021 ak dem boo bàyyi force nekkatu fi léegi du soon du la caageen dañ ko def wax affaire am parce que moom nekkatu fi léegi li ñu doon gën a moo ñu bañ a wax affaire am tey waaye boo defee lu ñaaw nu mel noonu ñaaw te fu ñu ko mën a fàtte foog ñu fàttali ko pour mu bañ a amati moo tax su ko Sidi Ndiaye defutoon ni kon bu dem boo bàyyi force duñ ko waxati sax waaye Sidi Ndiaye mu ngi dundal li dem boo bàyyi force waxoon defoon 2021 moo tax fa ñu dellu si dem boo bàyyi force Sidi Ndiaye li moo def loolu la te loolu boo continuer te duñ ko nangu liñ bëgg a mooy ñu ne neen ci réew mi ñu féewale ñu waaw duñ sànnil kii carte wala duñ ko bàyyi mu liggéey fii parce que soose la parce que UDP lay farleen gis nga xeeti kenn gënul xeeti keneen man soose la pire te dama koy puugaree dama koy baakoo te loolu la ñeneen mu doon puugaree baakoo seen xeet itam te nangul naa leen ko respecté naa leen ci loolu mooy yoon ku nekk li nga doon loolu nga doon soo fekkee ne yow li nga doon fonkawula ko kenn du la fonka yow yaay fonk li nga doon ñu mun la cee fonk man soosi doomi soosi pire la dama ko fonk di ko puugaree waaye noonu laa respecté ko xam ne doomi wolof la doomi séeréer doomi joolaa doomi pël doomi lu nekk parce que noonu la ñu yàlla bindee waaye daf ñu bindee pour ñu mën a nekk benn nag jàppante liggéey ci réew mi li ñu boole moo ëpp suñ xeet yi li ñu boole mooy réew mi Gambia li ñu boole mooy jëm kanami réew mi ak suñ doom yi ak suñ seet yi ñoo liggéeyal pour ëllëg soo xeet amul solo lu am solo moo ñu liggéey ci réew mi pour mu jëm kanam soo ku ñëw nag bi ñu jéem a féewale dañu pour ñu xeex ñun suñ diggante waaye suñ ñu ngi xeex ñoom ñu ngi sàccal ak lu nekk ci réew mi duñ ko nangu nañ ko xeex moo tax ñu wax affaire Sidi Ndiaye dañoo gënal ñun toog mooy wax toog fi waxtaan leneen waaye soo gisee ñu wax li suñ ko waxu dafa mel ne li mu wax dëgg la dañoo woon doomi réew mi ne li moo wax dara di ci dëgg yëpp dafay kàcc moo tax ñu ko fee waxee pour ñu mun a xam ne réew mi am na ñoo xam ne jaral na leen lu nekk dañ génn a xeex pour réew mi tegu ci yoon continuer ci yoon soo loolu la ñu na wax tey bu leen kenn nax bu kenn yab seen xel liñ bugg rek mooy nasaxal seen xalaat ne réew bi daal jaratu ko because élection bi moom loo mën a def dañ ko sàcc duñ ko sàcc de te du parce que lu ngeen bàyyi ñu sàcc ko te des na ci yéen nag boo leen mooy gomee loolu ne duñ ko sàcc di ngeen génn a ut seen carte sànni seen carte ñu wiin parce que ñoom dinañ sànni di ñoom parce que liñ ragal mooy ñu daanu njaaxum bi ñu nekk ci réew mi fii nguute bi ñu dugal dañ bañ loolu génn parce que xam nañ ne bu génnee bu ne bi ci cappaandaw ba ñoom fi ñoo fanaane day moom xam nañ ko mooy ndugu siin te ndugu siin léegi bu ñu faa dem soo fi mu nekk moo tax jaral leen lu nekk ñun ñooy xeex nag pour suñu réew mi tegu ci yoon des ci yoon soo kenn sàccut élection si te kenn du ko sàcc bu leen kenn naa ne jarul ngeen sànni carte ñuy sàcc lañu bari sàccuñ ko de te duñ leen bàyyi ñu sàcc ko te su fekkee ne yéen sànni ngeen seen carte li ci des bàyyi leen ñu ko dinañ ko liggéey ba mu set wëcc dañ taxaw tem xeexal réew mi nga xam ne kenn du sàcc élection si loolu lañ leen a ñaan li des ci bindu bi benn semaine rek moo ci des juróom-benni fan ama juróom-ñaari fan moo ci des génneel ngeen ut seen carte ngeen taxaw xaar ñu génn fi Barrow nguuram bu bon bii waay loo bugg a Barrow xanaa kay sa bopp la ko war a génnal ak say njaboot ak say doom ak say sët ñi coono bi ñoo teg li ñu en ci bor dañ ko fay suñ doom yi fay ko suñ seet yi fay ko da du jeex doy na nag lu ëpp tuuru ñi li ñu teg nañ ko xeex léegi soo Sidi Ndiaye li moo def yëpp Barrow moo ko sant su ko Barrow santutoon du génn wax ne Sidi Ndiaye lañu wax waaw nañ dem tuggal ci biir néegi mbooka waxtaanee ko fa waaye kii di moo wax du tey la door di lu la dugal woon am néegi mbooka seen nga wax ko digga gi soo ko buggee wax digga kay di ko digga du yàgg bi ko doon wax du tey de waaye yow yaa ko yónni yaa ko sant yow la neex moo tax muy continuer di ko def ñun nag li ñoo wax ñun neexuñu nanguñ ko te duñ ko bàyyi mu def soo nañ ko xeex nañ ko waxtaanee nañ ko yëgal réew mi yépp ñu xam soo fi mu nekk comme que waxtu yi jeex na dañ leen a wax rek mooy ngir yàlla nañ bugg suñu bopp su ma ko gënal ndax nekkul dama la bañ waaye dama préfère suma bopp ak suma doom yeeg suma seet yeeg ñëpp ci réew mi nañ liggéey loolu jëlee fi nguur bu bon dañ leen wax ne ñun liñ def seetal réew samp nañ yoon fële dugal nañ fële samp yoon du problème dañ ko soxla waaye samp yoon ci loo xam ne dañ ci njëriñu waaye yoon boo war a sampee ñaari téeméer boo war a sant ñaar fukk ak ñaari millions yi dollars nga ne ñu sampee nga ko ñaari téeméer ak ñeneenti millions mel ni sàcc nga téeméer ak juróom-ñetti fukk ak ñaari millions yi dollars ñii dañ buggee torop sax dafa jéggi dayoo boo xalaatee naka la mun a ni sàcc mun a sàcc téeméer ak juróom-ñetti fukk millions ak ñaar ci dollar ci réew mel ni Gambia waay yow réew mi kay bëgguloo ko de.
c'est a lot of money.
loolu lan la mën a faj ci réew mi fii ñaata xale la mu doon jàngal fii ñaata lopitaan la doon samp ñaata police la doon jël ñu fay leen fee bu rafet ñaata noos la ñoo jël fee leen fee bu rafet ñaata garab la ñoo jënd ñaata courant la ñoo jox ñu sukuraan bi ñàkk bi ma ne li ñoo mën a def ci réew mi 182 millions dollars li mën a def ci réew mi dafa bëri waaye ñeena rek fiitoo ko rek damma dugal seen poos ñooñu boo nañ réew mi bugguñu réew mi parce que xaalis bu mel suñ la ko joxee da ngay kontaan nga liggéey ci réew da nga yël réew mi mu dem kanam waaye jox ko yow nga bokk du mooyu mooy la loolu du yoon duñ ko mën a nangu soo ñoo ngi maa wax pour ñu tëj léegi soo baal leen maa xet yi ma yàgg ci wax yi waaye dafa am solo pour ñu yëgal réew mi parce que fañ toll dañ tolloo ndigga bu tollu point dafa jafe de te ñun ñoo ko mën a jeexal ñun doomi réew mi dimbali leen ñu ci loolu
control room bi nañ ñu baalal 2 minutes rek ma yokka ci leneen Barrow ak ma nguuram ñu ngi ci siis bi fukki at
waaw
ren ci fukki at yooyu loo xam ne bon na loo xam ne yàqu na loo xam ne dina yàqu du Barrow de du NPP UDP la Barrow ak
dañu weex dunq
waaw Barrow ak gaayam ñoom UDP mooy seen problème
dañu weex dunq
man dama ko wax sax ba I said ne they are suffering from a UDP Ousainou Darboe derangement syndrome UDP ñu ngi leen a dofloo loolu tekki ñu ngi leen a dofloo so much so that lu xew ci réew bi te jagut baaxut UDP la
dama tax ñu ne dofloo dañu ragal li ñoo wax ci seen njaaxum seen guute gi ñoo dugal
yes waaye UDP nekkuñ ci nguur gi ñoom ñoo fa toog 10 years munuñ leen a wax ne toppatoo nañ leen courant toppatoo nañ leen ndox toppatoo nañ leen lopitaan yi toppatoo nañ leen seen agriculture toppatoo nañ leen seen fajukaay munuñoo wax loolu dara liñ am pour wax rek mooy boole ñu xeet yi ñu bañante ñu fitnante man loolu moo ma tiital ci yëfi Adama Barrow ak NPP seen tribalism bi dafa ëpp doole
te xam nga lan la boo defee lu bon yaa ngi wut porox ndolli fu ngay mën a jaaree loolu la si ñoom seen porox ndolli bi mooy UDP waaw te duñ ko mën a nangu nañ ci waxtaan gis nga réew mi nañ xam ne Barrow ak nguurgam bi ndig si rek ñu lalal ndig si rek ñu lalal buñ ci duggee réew mi jeex na te ndig si réew mooy lan ñu nax ñu ba ñu sànni leen carte yi
wala ñu sàcc ko
buñ ko bàyyee ñu def nag jeex na buñ ko nangooti
Gambia du melan si Gambia de
su amee sax am na Gambia dina amati sax
ok mbokk yi jërëjëf si seen time mbaɗimo laala baraka ale lamoyro menke to our English speaking viewers we thank you very much for giving us the privilege to beam into your homes and your households. We'll see you next week Thursday inshallah. Juma Mubarak to our Muslim compatriots.
Juma Mubarak to you all.